should be live. Hooray! Do you know what? That's the fastest that YouTube has ever done that. Right, hang on. Let me just get rubbish out of the way so it looks a bit clearer. Okay, right. I am probably, sorry, I'm just getting myself set up. I'm probably just going to crack on with this evening. I will do a quick introduction for anybody that's just randomly ended up on this channel. My name is Lois. I'm a mindset, manifestation, and empowerment coach. My channel is sort of built around that whole concept of guiding people through manifestation, how to shift and align their mindset, how to empower themselves more. I'm also a full-time van lifer, so I got that going on too. And this is my motorhome Indy. This is where I live. Hi, Reese. Oh, good. You can hear me loud and clear. I don't know how many people are going to join me tonight. It might just be you and me, but there we go. That's fine. People will always catch this up later. So just did my quick intro. And so, yes, welcome. This is the A to Z of manifesting. So we have so far done A to F, and this is going to be the letter G. Weirdly appropriate. I would normally be doing this on a Sunday evening to any of my regulars watching, but I've been away this weekend. I've been up in the Yorkshire Dales. I was actually in Bronte country, so I was out hiking there while my son was off watching trains and whatnot, which I normally would do myself, but I decided to go hiking and went and met a friend, and yeah, had an absolutely amazing day Saturday. But yeah, the synchronicity of the G thing is, I don't know if I should even say it, but a specific person, shall I say, their letter starts with G. Their name starts with the letter G. So it kind of, if it had been last night, it would have been very, very kind of like coincidental. But anyway, get that out of the way. First, though, I am going to big up myself, because I think the previous week I was asked by I don't know if it was Chris or Tom, but someone asked me, what am I currently manifesting? So I gave a list of things, and one of which I'd said that I wanted to get past the 500 subscriber limit, because I seem to have been stuck on that for a good few months. It kept wavering between sort of 497, 499, and it kept going back and forth, and it was driving me nuts. So that was my goal, and I hit it. I hit it last week. I couldn't believe it. So now I'm 504 subscribers. So I'm really, really happy with that. And now it's just, on to the 1K and beyond. So yeah, I'm feeling quite chuffed with that. So there you go. See, that's how easy manifestation is. It can happen so fast like that. And people are going to say, well, how did you do it? Well, I wasn't really promoting it. I didn't do anything as such. I didn't advertise or anything. I just set my mind on visualizing getting 500. I made the decision and said, I am going to get over 500. It is going to happen. And then I just sort of let it go and just assumed that it would happen. I didn't set a time limit. I didn't do anything, but I had it inside me to say, this is going to happen in the next week or so. And then it did. So there you go. And I wasn't focused on it. I wasn't worried about it. One day I just turned on YouTube and there we go. 504 subscribers. So that was good. Right. So, you lived near Haworth. Oh, amazing. That is where I stayed. Haworth. Oh, where was I? I was on Cemetery Road near the Pennendine Country Park? Something like that. Literally where apparently the Bronte sisters' house was, or their parsonage or something. I was literally there. So that's where I camped over for a couple of nights. It was, it was beautiful. And I went to Ilkley Moor and did a big hike around there. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, the weather helped. It was sensational on Saturday. But I just went for miles and miles. I think I did about 14K in the end. And then when I came back to the beginning, I made sure that I'd parked up at White Wells. So I'm sure you're familiar with that. And after the hike, I went and did a cold plunge. So I think I put some videos on Instagram, but I'm going to do a video for YouTube if I haven't uploaded it already. So you'll be able to see that. The cobbled hill, course steep march. See, now I didn't do the cobbled hill, but I may be passing back through that way when I go up to Scotland in May. So if you've got any other suggestions, let me know, because this was a bit kind of last minute. I went to see the Singing Ringing Tree. Don't know if you know about that one. That was near Burnley. Weird, mad, like structure looking like a weeping willow tree made out of lots and lots of poles of metal, and when the wind blows through it, it makes a weird, like, eerie hum. It's kind of like, oh, it's just bizarre, but it is quite creepy. Yeah, it's like something out of a horror movie. I missed the best sweet shop. Oh no. Okay, right, I'll have to go back there then. Good job I didn't tell my son. He'd have been in there like a shot. Okay, right, so I think that's the waffle over with. I've got a few videos lined up that I'm going to post this week, which I think are really important, because they were things that happened over the weekend that I just really want to share with the viewers. I think it's going to be very important messaging that people are not only going to resonate with, but I'm absolutely certain it's going to shift a lot of people and make a big difference to how they're feeling, what they're thinking, and how they move kind of forward once they've watched it. So I'm quite excited with that. Right, let's get into the G's of manifesting. Now, there aren't actually that many G's that I can think of. If I come up with any more, I'll let you know. But yeah, I will go through these. So I'm going to start with, Chris said a few, and I've got some similar. So I'm going to start with grounding, or as we talk about, being grounded. This works for everything, whether it's to do with spirituality or manifesting or just generally in life. The reason I've decided to add this to the G's in manifesting, and why it sort of is relevant to manifesting, is mainly to do with our sense of self and our state of being and our emotional regulation, and all of those things play a massive part. Keep saying my connection is unstable, and I don't know why it's saying that, because I've got perfectly good connection. Anyway, hopefully that's not going to be an issue tonight. So yeah, the reason I added grounding in is because it's good for us anyway, just in general, but it's very, very valuable when it comes to manifesting, because if you can ground yourself, and all that simply means is stabilizing. That just means stabilizing yourself. It just means creating a very stable foundation, a very good baseline. Now, for some people, they go out and they do it barefoot in the grass. Some people will just go sit quietly somewhere. But you can ground anywhere. It's simply just getting into your body, settling down, calming everything, and getting to a really good baseline state of being where you're not one thing or another. You're not really in your emotions, and you're not in your head. You're just calm, just neutral. So the reason grounding is quite important to manifesting, as I say, is if you're getting triggered in 3D, if you're seeing like opposite situations, if things aren't working out, if you start to get stressed because of timing, if you're frustrated because it feels like your manifestation's not happening, and all of these things are happening around you, and you're looking at 3D and all of it just feels chaotic, is having that ability to just go, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know what's happening. I'm freaking out. Like we said, awareness is essential. So once you're aware of what's happening, you're aware that your thoughts are kicking off, you're aware that your ego's shouting at you, you're aware that, you're getting emotional, and you can identify all of these key aspects, and you know why it's happening. You're then able to sort of almost like, detach yourself from all of that and just come back to self. And actually, this ties in really well with a video that I'm gonna do this week. And it just helps you stay balanced, because we all just want to be balanced, really. We all want to be able to manage our emotions, manage our thoughts, and be able to just stay as calm and as untriggered as possible. So grounding, I would highly recommend it always anyway, but it will really help you, especially when you feel like everything's just kind of not working out. The cold plunge video made me blush. Oh, okay. Is that because of what I was wearing? Yeah. I'm kind of running out of swimwear, so I probably need to invest in some more. If it's an issue, I shall cover up, but that's just all I had with me at the time. So, wow, blushing's good. Okay. Now you're making me blush. Right. So, the next one I'm going to go to is one of the big, it's probably the main G that we're going to discuss, and that is gratitude. It is important just anyway, what I was thinking of. Gratitude is important anyway. In all your waking life, gratitude is probably one of your greatest superpowers. If you can feel grateful just for the littlest things, just for breathing the air, just for the fact that you woke up this morning, for the fact that you're functionable, you've got good friends, you've got a good family, you've got a job, you've got a roof over your head, whatever it is, the birds are singing, the sun came out. Finding gratitude for anything every single day is going to put you in the most aligned state for manifesting whatever dreams, goals, and desires that you've got going on. And it just will help you in any case, just as a human being. I think society in general has really disconnected themselves from what is really going on in their life, what's really important. We outreach on social media and we look at the news. I mean, I don't look at the news, but people, they hear, there's so much noise in this freaking world, so much noise, so much information, so much coming at us all day long. And it's so easy to always be looking like, that thing of like looking over the neighbor's fence, it's always curtain twitching, what have they got? And they've got what I haven't got. And that person does this and I want that. And, we're always now sort of comparing ourselves and berating ourselves and judging each other. And, it's just bullshit at the end of the day. It's absolute bullshit. So gratitude is just essential, I think, in everyday waking life. You can do it any time of the day. I like to do it first thing in the morning, but actually of late I've just been doing it as and when during the day, and sometimes I just do it when I'm sort of drifting off at sleep. I just think about what happened during the day, I process through, and I think about all the things that I'm really grateful for that happened, and just a general, like, I'm grateful for my friends, my family, my YouTube subscribers, and I just run through that. And what it really does is it just makes you value what you've got. It brings you back into this present now moment, and it stops you from sort of spiraling out into your thoughts and all of the ego bullshit stuff. It's a really, really valuable part. And there's a big thing in manifesting where obviously a lot of people talk about, we don't want to manifest from lack, of always looking at the absence of things. You want to look at the things that you have got, not the things you don't have. Because in the law of attraction, we attract what we are being, and it's not always like for like. So if you are constantly focused upon the absence of something, you end up creating more absence of it, because that's where your attention is focused. And where attention goes, energy flows. So you're actually, if you think of like your manifestations as a fire, and you think of your fears and your insecurities and your doubts and your worries as a fire, what are you feeding? Actually, it's compared as the dog and the beast. There's a story of the dog and the beast, and you have to decide which one you're feeding. So the dog is your dreams and your desires, and the beast is your ego. It's all of those insecurities and all the negative shit. So what are you feeding? You know, you can't serve two masters. So you're feeding one or you're feeding the other. And gratitude is the fastest way to be able to feed, you know, your soul, to feed your spirit, and put more good energy and channel it more towards things that you actually want, not the things you don't want. The next one I'm going to talk about is glow up. Don't know if anybody's heard of this. This is actually probably more of a spiritual term, but it happens a lot during manifestation, I found. And I think it comes down to the gratitude, and also, as we talk about, like the state of being, when you're in the awareness, when you're in the flow state, when you're just going with life. A glow up simply is when you level up, when you drop certain negative mindsets, when you can let go of the past, when you start forgiving, when you're just shedding all the crap that you've been holding on to up until this point. When you start really stepping out of that ego identity and getting away from your past and stop carrying all this baggage and shit that you've been carrying around, and you start moving more into the person, the persona, the identity, the character, whatever you want to call it, of someone who is more abundant and loving life and grateful and all of those things, it naturally has an effect on us biologically, physiologically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. It just lifts you. And as we know, everything is energy, and we are magnetically drawn to certain people because of their energy. Some people can walk in a room and you're just instantly like, wow, who is that person? Just by the way they carry themselves. And I have certainly found I've had many glow ups, and in each glow up, something changes about me. Either maybe I lose weight, or I start to notice a change in my appearance. Maybe, you know, my hair gets thicker, or it changes color, or I notice like maybe my skin looks better. There's so many little things that just seem to happen. And I even had someone message me last week, actually. I think I posted something on Facebook. Oh, it was on my Facebook stories, I think. And the person just messaged and said, oh my God, you look incredible. Like, how do you do it? Every time I see a picture of you, you seem to be looking younger and younger. And, you know, I laughed and was like, oh, ha, 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 you know, very funny, very sweet. But they were like, no, genuinely, like, I don't get it. And a couple of other people were like, you know, you're looking really, really good. And even my stepsister, she was just like, wow, you're looking incredible. And people are like, what's your fitness routine? What's your diet? You know, what do you do? What's your skincare? And I'm like, I don't do anything. I don't do anything. I just try and live a happy life. And do you know what? I still have moments. Saturday, I was bawling my eyes out. Very different reason. But yeah, I still have days where I get frustrated. I mean, I've had 5 water leaks in my motorhome in the last week. 5. And this morning I noticed that the external pipes to my waste tank have also now come away. I had a slight ding going down some of the bumpy roads in up north, and I've got this like bent part where you basically, it's where you hook on trailers. So if you wanted to sort of trail or tow a car or something, and it was slightly bent, and it's now embedded into my back bumper, where it hit the concrete and went smack, and it sliced into my back bumper. So it's now wedged up there. Luckily, my motorhome is going to the garage on Thursday for some new shoes and potentially some brake pads. So I'm going to see if the guys can just bend it back to where it should be, and then I can fix the bumper. But it's just like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I was just like, what is this? Like, my motorhome literally got flooded. I'm praying that, you know, I've managed to dry it out enough that it doesn't rot and it doesn't cause any problems. You know, I'm quite fortunate that my diesel heater is right next to where the pump is. So all of that area that got saturated, I can dry it out with the diesel heater. But there's parts like it literally ran underneath all of the sofas. So it could very well, it went underneath the cooker, it's gone into the bathroom and beyond. It hasn't made it to the front cab, so that's a relief. So yeah, all I've been doing for the last week is fixing bloody leaks and floods. And you know what? Not once did I lose my shit. Not once did I freak out. Not once did I panic and think, oh no, this is the end of it. I just got on with it, dealt with it. I had a friend that came and helped me. The pipes that are there at the minute. Do you know what? It's not the end of the world. It's really not. In the scheme of things, it's not that big a deal. So I'm not going to stress over it. I'm not going to let it get to me. And I think, yeah, that has a big knock-on effect when you're not stressed, when you're not anxious, when you're not in that constant fight and flight. Your nervous system regulates. Your body starts to calm down. You start to regulate your hormones. And cortisol is a massive one. I mean, cortisol will affect your weight. It will affect your sleep quality. It affects your mood, affects your cognition. It does a lot of things to you. And I noticed when I regulated my cortisol, I lost a shed load of weight. It just literally fell off me. I didn't realize how bad my stress levels were. I'd aged dramatically and it was pretty bad. My hair was falling out. It was awful. But yeah, once I removed whatever was stressing me out, it seemed to work out. So yeah, so I don't have that. But glow ups, essentially, they do happen. It's part of a spiritual journey. But when you are starting to become more whole and satisfied and content and at peace with yourself, and you're more in that energy of just enjoying life, being grateful, de-stressing, yeah. Yes, fasting. That's the reason I started fasting a couple of years ago, because I heard that it was really good for balancing your hormones and regulating your cortisol. And it must have had an effect, because I didn't really lose weight the first couple of weeks that I was fasting. I noticed I had less bloating and less swelling, but it was probably a good sort of 6 weeks afterwards. I suddenly noticed I'd literally dropped 2 dress sizes. It was weird how quickly it happened, but I just wasn't aware of it. So yeah, fasting, I highly recommend it. Anybody should fast. And it's not that difficult to do a 12 or 14 hour fast. If you think about it, if you had your last meal at 5 p.m., you could go through. So by 5 a.m., that's already 12 hours. Surely you could then go until maybe 10 a.m. I mean, it's not that long, really, is it? So if you think about it, it's actually quite easy to go 14 hours. And 14 hours is a good start point for a fast. I must admit, I haven't fasted in a long time, and I probably should. But my body, I always listen to my body, and my body at the moment is telling me that it wants food. So I'm giving it food, but I'm just trying to make sure I give it the good food. You dropped a dress size or 2. Love it. What are you now, size 10? But yeah, it does have a massive effect. It just really improves everything. I was able to think better. I was able to function clearer. My skin cleared up. I was sleeping better. It just did so many great things for me. So I will always recommend fasting. And I thought it was going to be difficult, but actually it wasn't that bad. And as a tip for anyone that's fasting, if you really, really are desperately hungry and you want something to eat, 2 things I would suggest. So to relieve the hunger pangs, you want something salty. So either get some salted butter or some really salty peanut butter. Take a little tiny bit on your tongue and just let it sit and melt on your tongue. Just let it melt and sit in. The salts actually take away the hunger pangs. It's weird how it does it. And if that still doesn't work and you really do need to eat water-soluble foods like melon, watermelon, cucumber, pineapple, things like that. Even strawberries, blueberries. I mean, obviously they have got a sugary content, but if you could, what I was doing, I was having watermelon and cucumber. And that was, I'd take the skin off the cucumber and I'd just eat the fleshy bit. But if I was really, really desperate, that is what I would eat. I would just have like maybe 1 or 2 bites of watermelon, and then I'd leave it and I'd wait and see. But your body just adjusts. It just gets used to it. So anyway, so that's a glow up. Just thought I'd mention that because a lot of people find that when they're on this sort of spiritual journey, or they're on this manifesting journey, it's kind of a bit of a bonus. And actually, it's my birthday in a couple of weeks, and yeah, I'm trying to think what to manifest for my birthday. But I'm very happy with the way I look for coming up to 47. I'm quite happy. Anyway, next up. Okay, this is a 2-part one, but it's quite important. And some people are not going to like this. And believe me, I can resonate, because there was a massive part of me for so many years. I was atheist for about 20, 25 years. Prior to that, I was highly spiritual. Never been religious. But yeah, when I came back into this, I really struggled. I liked churches, but I didn't like religion, for obvious reasons. What do you want for your birthday? Oh, I don't actually know, because there's nothing I need. This is the thing. I've got myself into such a wonderful place in my life that there honestly isn't anything that I feel I need. There's nothing I'm missing. There's nothing I crave or desire as such. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I was to pull anything out of the hat, I would say, okay, I'd love to go on holiday to like the Maldives or Bali or something like that. I'd love to get like a free holiday there. Tube of silicone. I've got silicone. Maybe a live-in plumber. That might help. I don't know. Maybe I'll manifest, like, I don't know. I might win something on the scratch card or something like that. I don't do the lottery, but I might buy myself a little birthday scratch card, and let's see. I'll get 100K out of it. Yeah, maybe I'll manifest a plumber or a heating engineer or a mechanic. That'd be quite nice. A live-in mechanic. Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, other than that, I can't think of anything. I have plastered so much silicone around things. It's got clamps, it's got O-rings, it's got everything strapped to it. I've siliconed it. I've even put silicone cement around the pipework, because I'm just like, I don't want it leaking anymore. So yeah, so far, touch wood, all good. So yes, with this, yeah. So as I was saying, I struggled to even say the word God. But now I have a greater understanding of what that means. It doesn't freak me out so much. And the biggest thing we talk about in manifesting is understanding what God truly means. You are God. You are the God of your reality. You are the God of your existence. There is nothing outside of you. There is nothing and no one outside of you. God is not some bearded bloke sitting on a fluffy cloud dictating what happens, okay? Regardless of what religion you're into, God is an eternal essence, is a being. It's what we all are. We all come from the same thing. As a soul, as an essence, we are all connected by consciousness. We are all one thing. God is simply consciousness. It is the all that is. And it exists within all of us, because we all are consciousness at the end of the day. We are only separate because of these bodies. And I want to just explain it like this. So if you have a bowl of water, that water in that bowl is the same, right? It is made up of the same stuff. It's H2O. Every single part of that, every single drop is all water. Now you take 2 cups and you fill up each cup with the water from that bowl. It's the exact same water, but it's now separate by the cups. The vessel that the water is in has kept that water separate, but the water in essence is the same damn thing. This cup and this cup are identical. There is nothing different about the water. And these 2 water cups are exactly the same as the water in the bowl. Because if you mix the water in these 2 cups, it blends perfectly. If you pour the water back into the bowl, it blends perfectly. It all comes together back into oneness. And that is what we are. That is what God is. God is oneness. God is the all that is. God is everything. God is your consciousness. We are all connected through consciousness. That is why telepathy is real. That is why thought transmission is real. And that is why manifesting works, because we are all the God of our reality. If you have a desire, that is the God within you saying, oh, you have a desire. I can make this happen if you want it. But our ego, through, our life experiences and everything that's happened to us, is like, you think of it like the angel and the devil on the shoulder. The ego is like the devil that's there going, nah, you can't have that. Nah, you're rubbish. Nah, that won't work. Oh, do you remember last time you tried it? It failed. Yeah, I wouldn't bother. It's that little voice that just grates at you. So, with this God kind of state, that is where manifestation really takes off. Because your dreams, your goals, and your desires, that want for something, that desire for something, that comes from the God state within you. And this is the video that I've just done. I've put it on Instagram. I'm going to put it on YouTube probably tomorrow. But it explains exactly this. We are only ever in two states. And you may have heard this, like states of being. Like, what are you being? The state that you're at. Sorry, I'm absolutely sweating because I've got the heater on. Sorry. So the two states that we exist in is God state and the ego state. So God state is the manifesting state. That's the all that is. That is the consciousness. The ego state is our life experiences. It's this human existence, right? It's thoughts, it's emotions, it's feelings, it's tangible stuff. It's hair, it's cars, it's food, it's that. Now, when you're in your ego state, you are constantly living from your experiences and your programming and your conditioning. Everything that you go through creates a thought, it creates a belief, it creates a story. So if you are in ego state, you will, and we manifest all day long. And this is what this video is about. It proves that we manifest all day long, every single day, every single waking minute we're manifesting. But you're either manifesting from your ego state or your God state. When you are in your ego state, you will be manifesting all the things you don't want, because your ego state is where your fears, your insecurities, your stories, everything, all your beliefs exist in your ego state. When you are in God state, there just is. There is just the awareness. There is just the essence of you. There is no separation. There is no divide. There is no other. There is no thought. There is no emotion. There is no questioning. There is no doubts. There's no fears. There's no stories. God's state simply is this. It is just oneness. It is just awareness. It is consciousness. And there can be no separation in consciousness. There can be no ego identity in consciousness. It's just impossible. Because your identity, your character, your ego, whoever you think you are, it's just a concept. It's just a 3D visual representation of who you truly are inside. And who you are inside is the God within. It is the God state where we manifest our dreams and our desires, because that's where they begin. So you're either manifesting from your fears and your stories and your beliefs, or you are manifesting your dreams, goals, and desires. You decide. You get to decide which one you are in. But you can only truly make a conscious decision when you have awareness. Otherwise, you will always be manifesting from your ego, because you will be manifesting from your unconscious programming. Your subconscious mind rules most of what you do. And as Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, you will let it direct your life, and you will just call it fate. And that is what most people do. Oh, it's meant to be. Oh, that was always going to happen. Oh, see, I told you that always happens to me. Oh, well, I guess that's just fate. No, that's you blindly allowing life to just happen to you. A conscious manifestor lives in God state, where they know what they're capable of. They know that all of this stuff is just a projection of them, that it's not real. It's all just a play. We're all just experiencing. We all just came here to experience. That's why we have these human bodies. We all decide what we want to experience. So in every moment you have this choice. Are you in ego or are you in God state? And it's not a religious thing. It's just a way of being. It is awareness. It is consciousness. So when you are in God state, you are in flow. You are not resisting. You are receiving. You are aligning. You take action that is aligned with those dreams and goals. You're not forcing. You're not stressing. You're not questioning. You're just knowing. You're being. You're present. You're allowing. You're observing. You are just aware. And you are detaching because you are not fixed to anything. So God state is just, it just is. And it's when people talk about how they want to find inner peace and they want relief, that's what it is. If you want true inner peace, if you are someone who just thinks to themselves, oh, I just want to switch off my brain. I just want the thoughts to stop. I just want, I just don't want to feel upset anymore. I don't want to feel angry anymore. I don't want the pain of my past anymore. I don't want any of this bullshit anymore. I just want to break. I just want it all to stop. I just want to feel inner peace. God state is that state. Awareness, consciousness is how you get there. And this is the sort of thing that I coach people on. I help people get into that state of being where they can finally feel free of all of that crap that goes on, all of their ego stuff, where they can just literally rest and be. And then they start to I've seen it over and over and over and over again. I've had, so far, I'm proud to say I've had 100% success rate with every person I've coached. Some people do it in a matter of weeks. Some people it's taken months, and some people it's taken years, because everybody is unique and everybody's different and they've all got their own stories and their own mindsets. But it's transformative. It is possible, and it's not that difficult. It's a process, and it's taken me a while, but I know that it works. So that's why I want to pass this on to other people, because I want people to have that freedom within. Because when you feel free within, that freedom that you're looking for outside, that's why we want money. We want money so that we can feel free, so that we don't have to worry about stuff. We want to work less hours so that we can have more free time. We don't want to get maybe trapped into certain things, because we want the freedom to be able to explore and choose, all this stuff with the government. You think about it, they're restricting your freedom to travel, freedom to spend your money the way you want, freedom to, work where you want, to express yourself the way you want, to dress how you want, to behave how you want. And obviously there are rules, we don't want to be immoral and stuff, but we all seek that sense of peace and freedom within. God state's the way to get there. So if you want to know how to get there and you want to work with me, then obviously my details are in the my bio and everything, and you can reach out to me. And the last one I'm going to say, this is just a phrase that I've heard said many times. At good with oneself. Exactly. God state, derived from the word good. Yeah. God is a line from a fiction. Yeah, exactly. I see. It's funny with God. I had to change it, and I said, right, let me see. I love acronyms, so I said God is grace over doubt, or gratitude over doubt, or it's that was the one that stuck with me, was gratitude over doubt. So whenever you're doubting, if you shift into gratitude, you're immediately going to be put into God state. That's how I kind of interpreted it. So it took that kind of God element out of it. But yeah, God good, it's the oneness. See all that is. So yeah, this last phrase is one that we use quite a lot in manifesting, and it's more as a motivational phrase that gets used, and it's simply called go all in. And there are some people that you may speak to that always like, oh, I'm either all in or all out. And I used to think that, and I've met other people that have said that, and you know what? It's all a lie. No one's all in or all out. At some point, somewhere, we are all on the fence. At some point, we're either half in, half out. We're either, maybe not. We're all kind of dipped in and out, maybe arm's length, all of these things. But we're never all in or all out. Never. I just don't think we are. But the point of manifesting and saying go all in is that if you've got a dream or a desire or an ambition or a goal, Go all in on it. Don't waver. Don't doubt. Don't question it. Just fucking go for it. Because you've got like this one life, and if you're lucky, you'll be reincarnated and you'll come back, but you might come back as a frog next time. You might come back as a totally different gender. You might come back as somebody who has a completely different existence to you, because that's what we want to do. We want to experience. So make the most of this experience that you've got right now. And if you've got anything that you are desiring, go all in on it. That means you put your absolute heart and soul into it, because that is where we're manifesting from, the heart and the soul. The God state, the God state is the desire that's created, and your heart is the magnetic draw that brings things to, and we say we bring it to you. You're not bringing in your manifestation, because creation's done from the get-go. So, think of it this way, and Neville Goddard coined it perfectly, and it's this: you are either pregnant or you're not. You cannot be just a little bit pregnant, right? You just can't. You're either pregnant or you're not. So when you're manifesting your dreams, goals, and desires, you're either in it or you're not. You either want it or you don't. You either trust it or you don't. You either know it or you don't. Again, you're either in God state or you're in ego state. You're in one or the other. You're half in, you're half out. You're constantly doing the hokey cokey. So to go all in is just simply saying, you know what? I want to manifest a new house. I want to manifest getting a promotion. I want to manifest winning the lottery. That's my desire. I truly want that. Like every fiber of your being is like, I truly want it. And I don't just want it because I want it. I want it because I feel it, because I feel like it's meant for me, because there's an impulse there's a real like gut urge to like, yeah, that's mine. I can imagine it. I can see me doing that. I can imagine me having that. It feels real before it's even happened. It feels possible. It feels doable. And the reason it feels possible and doable is because it already bloody exists. Otherwise you wouldn't want it. It's already created. If you want to get into the religious things, we talk about, the Sabbath, the seventh day. So God created the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. So on the Sabbath, that is the Sabbath state. That's the God state, where you look around and you go, that's that done then. Now I can just put my feet up, rest, and just enjoy it. Reap the rewards of your labor. And so whatever you're desiring, go all in. That doesn't mean you can never doubt, you can never question, you can never worry. Like I said, you're going to flip from ego to God state all the time because of your experiences. But through awareness, through being very conscious of your thoughts and your emotions and triggers and things like that, it keeps you more in the God state than the ego state. And that's what tips the balance more, when you are more in that. But God, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be healed. You don't have to be doing all of this bloody, spiritual work. I mean, I run retreats. I do workshops. I'll admit I do all that. But my retreats are not, these like, hey, let's just sit and do like breathing for a bit. And, we'll do some yoga and then we'll maybe go swim and we'll go om la 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 for a bit. That's not what I do. My retreats are literally getting people to address the root of what is holding them back, what is sticking in there, what's the thorn in their side that they are afraid of looking at and removing, because it's been part of them for so long. Because once they do, that's the release, that's the healing. You don't have to sit there and fix anything. You're not broken, you're not damaged, you're not wounded. You're just identifying with it. You're just choosing to believe that that's who you are. You've just adopted this persona and that's what you're sticking with. But you don't have to be that. Now, I do agree, like I've had trauma myself growing up. I've had child trauma. I've had other things happen to me. It is important to work through those. It is really important to go through any past issues, any baggage you've got, whether it's a relationship, whether it's family stuff, whatever it is, deal with it. So you're not dragging that fucking carcass around with you and bleeding on other people and blaming other people, being the victim all the time, woe is me. People like that is just, clear that shit out. Don't take it with you and don't dump it on other people. That is what healing is. But you don't have to be perfect to manifest, because I was unconsciously manifesting all my life, as we all do, but I got everything I ever bloody wanted. And I wasn't perfect. I hadn't done any bloody spiritual healing. I hadn't been to any retreats. I hadn't, done yoga. I hadn't done a sound bath. None of those things. I manifested it simply because of what I teach you guys. I decided I wanted it. It felt real. I would visualize it. I daydream about it. I got on with my life. I didn't worry about it. I didn't stress about it. And it showed up because I was all in on it. I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I was like, I want to be with that person. Well, lo and behold, a couple of weeks later, they dumped their girlfriend and they want me. I want that job. It's mine. Go about my life, do whatever I need to do. I apply for it, I forget about it. And then, I get a call. Hey, we'd love you to come in for an interview. Brilliant. And even the things that didn't quite work out actually worked out better. Because the thing that I thought I wanted actually wasn't half as good as what maybe, the universe, my higher self, my God state actually thought was going to be better for me. It's like when you look back at relationships and you think, thank God that didn't work out. You look at jobs and you think, oh my God, imagine if I was still working there now. So to desire and want is essential. We're always going to be doing it. But whatever you're desiring and wanting, go all in on it. Don't obsess. I am guilty of this. I would say I have been in my ego at least 50% of the time over the last sort of couple of weeks. I went on a bit of a deep dive, and I started to get a bit obsessive again, and I got a little bit, triggered, and I got very kind of het up about stuff. And as I say, over the weekend, I just sat there on Saturday doing this hike, and I just went, what the fuck am I doing? What the hell am I doing? This is ridiculous. I'm listening to these thoughts. I'm listening to all these negative things going on in my head, and I'm listening to it. But I don't want that. I don't want the shit that's going on in my head. I want the stuff that's in my heart and soul. So why am I listening to this? Because I'm just going to manifest all of this bullshit if I keep listening to it, and it's not making me happy. So in that moment, I just came back to myself. And I detached from whatever those thoughts were. And I just was like, I'm letting it go. And I literally felt physically like this weight just left me. And I was like, well, that feels better. And I've been changed ever since. And if ever that little ego tries to creep in again, I'm like, no, I come back to awareness. I am that I am. I am the God within. I am the creator of my reality. I am the chooser, not the chaser. I am the one that decides. I want my desire. I don't want the opposite. So I'm going to go all in on my desire, which means that if I desire it, it's already done. Which means if it's already done, I don't have to worry about it. There's nothing to do. All I have to do really is be. Enjoy my life. Get on with it. And it will show up. That's it. Says, what is the fix for fuzzy brain state, struggling to stay focused on any one thing? Oh, well, you're talking to the right person, because I used to regard myself as just someone that was highly passionate, but the more it comes out there, like people would class me as maybe neurodivergent. They might say that I was maybe slightly autistic or ADHD. I just think that ADHD people, neurodivergent people, are actually highly awakened people. They've evolved beyond, they use more of their brain than the average person. So this is what you have to kind of get into. If you're, I guess in terms of you say fuzzy brain, you're struggling to stay focused on any one thing. The best thing to do is to come away from it. So in that moment, so if there's particularly one thing that you're focusing upon, whether it's like a particular task, or there's something you've got to do for a job, or there's something you've got to get done. Are you struggling to stay focused on it because you're procrastinating, because you have a story about it, like you're afraid that it's not going to work, or it feels too difficult, or it's overwhelming you, or it just feels like too intense? You have to kind of identify sort of what's the story going on around that thing. And the way to quickly, if you want to quickly step away from it, is do this exercise. So anybody watching this, you can do this along. So as I talked about the awareness, easiest way to step out of it and get into that peace state. And this is where you get clarity. So this will help you actually make a clear decision, like what's the next step. You just get yourself into a good place. Just take a few deep breaths just to calm the body down. And then just ask this. Are you aware of my voice? And I want you to just, we'll to and fro this now. So are you aware of my voice? Are you aware that you are watching this live stream? Are you aware of your body? Are you aware of your surroundings? Are you aware that you are aware of these things? So then you are the awareness. You are not the things, the thoughts, the feelings, and the beliefs that might be coming up around you. You are the observer of all of those things. You are the awareness of them. So then, if you are not those things, and they are just stories, identities, they are not who you are. And then you can just sit in that for a moment, of just the awareness of, I am not what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I'm telling myself, what I'm believing, what I'm seeing. I am this awareness. I am the observer. And in this awareness, is anything wrong? Is there any worry? Is there any need to rush? Is there any need to do anything? Or can I just be in this moment? And just breathe into it. And sit in that feeling for as long as you need to. And then when you're ready, ask yourself, what is the next step that I can do? What is the next step that I can take? What is the most aligned action for me right now? Don't think about the series of things. Don't think about an end result. Don't think about what, the whole list. What is this one next aligned action that feels right in this moment? And then just do that. And when you've done that, same thing again. What is the next aligned action that I feel I want to take right now? And then do that. And you keep doing that until, before you know it, you've created enough momentum that whatever was kind of a sticking point, whatever was kind of confusing you or overwhelming you, you can just look and go, wow, I've just achieved 5 things that, a week ago I couldn't even have imagined doing. But now I'm already halfway through. I'm already nearly done with it. And it's taking something that maybe feels too big and just chopping it up into little pieces. Just think of it like, making a meal. Every meal has key ingredients. So take time to go through those ingredients as you would if you were preparing a meal. You would peel the vegetables, you would chop the vegetables, you would glaze the meat, whatever, there's steps, there's processes. You don't do everything all at once. You've got to do one thing at a time. So stand back and look in as if an onlooker. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if you could give me an example, then that would help. But in any situation, it's literally in that moment where you can feel like that tension, or you feel the anxiety building up, or you're starting to feel the stress, or whatever it is, the overwhelm. That's your moment to just stop it, catch it in that moment, to go, right, I'm feeling this. Okay. Just deep breaths and just ask yourself, okay, am I aware that I'm anxious? Or am I aware in this moment that I'm feeling overwhelmed? And answer yourself, yes. Okay, am I aware that I'm aware of being overwhelmed? Yes. Am I aware that in this now moment, I'm okay? And it's just observing the situation and sort of stepping back from it. And again, you can just rinse and repeat that as many times as you need to. And it really, really does help. I've done it at least probably 5 or 6 times over this weekend. And I woke up this morning and I can't even describe how I felt. I just felt okay. And that sounds mad, because a lot of people would be like, he felt okay? But when you're someone who's lived their whole life with fear, anxiety, stress, worry, overwhelm, panic, insecurity, all of those things, to wake up and feel okay is a blessing. Like, I literally was just like, it's okay. Everything's okay. Everything is okay. There is literally nothing right now that is wrong. Everything is fine. Even when I noticed that there was a leak, I was like, it's okay. And I wasn't caught up in the drama of it. A pipe came out. Okay, I'll deal with that. I got a damaged bumper. Okay, I will deal with that too. But right now, it's okay. I can deal with 2 or 3 things at once, but I have 20 things needing my attention. Okay. Right. So this again comes into things. So women are naturally good at multitasking, I will say, but not every woman. But it is a lot harder for men, only because the way your brains are actually kind of built and programmed. So it's actually quite a sort of physiological, biological thing that this would happen. So the best way to do that is the priority. If you've got 20 things at the moment that need your attention, I guarantee if you wrote them all down and then went through and numbered them in terms of priority, what is the essential thing that you have to do right now, right this minute? It won't be all of them. They don't all need doing right now. And you say they need your attention, that's okay. So give it your attention. Say, okay, I'm looking at that. Right. Observe, check. Okay. Let me see what each thing needs to be done. Right. Okay. That really has to be done now. And I can't do that until that's done. And once that's done, I can do that. And once I've done that, then that's going to be easy. And actually, I could probably do those 2 things at the same time. And then start to delegate. What can I actually get someone else to help me with? Or what could I give to someone else who might actually be able to do it quicker and better? Because I'm a sucker for this. I end up trying to do everything myself. I just have that thing of, I'll do it, it's fine. And I don't ask for help. And I've had to really kick that out of me and understand, no, I do need help. And I actually reached out to someone and I asked for some marketing help today. And she gave me some amazing advice. And I ended up with so many great ideas and so many inspired actions from it. I wouldn't have got that if I hadn't have reached out. I do a right list that makes it easier. Yeah, exactly. And the thing about list writing, sometimes we'll write a list and we get overwhelmed from that because we look, then we've got 20 things on a list and we're like, oh, Jesus Christ, what do I do? Okay, that. Again, that's why I say break it up. Okay, what are the top three? Start with three. So what are the top three things that have to be done immediately, right now, right today, right this minute? Those three are the only ones. Move those onto like a priority list. That's the only thing you have to focus on right now. The other 17, work through. Okay, is there any on that list that I can actually palm off to someone else? Is there anything on that list that I can delegate? And if there is, do it in that moment. Say, right, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Delegate, get rid. Now you may be only down to like 10 things that are left on that list. Then you can look through that list and go, okay, what will be the next three things I will have to do after I've done these three? Okay, it's probably that one, that one, that one. All the rest, don't worry about. Ignore. It doesn't matter. Your only focus is on those top three things that have to be done right now. Once you've done those top three things, because you're only focused on three things now, you're not worried about the rest. You'll get those three things done. Boom. Now you're on to the next. Okay, now I've got to do this one, this one. And if the list changes, because that's the thing, lists do change. They will change from time to time and something else will come in. And then, that's what I mean with the list. You might end up with 10. And then by the end of the week, you've added another 5. You might have only completed 2, but now you've got another 7 that's come in. That list is constantly going to keep growing otherwise. So by only ever going through that list and going, right, that's my priority, that's my delegated, that can wait. Do those, on to the next, and you will get through that list a lot faster. And I know, because I'm a big procrastinator, but when I break it down into those little chunks, it makes life so much easier. And then put a number of order next to each other. Yeah, there you go. So you're in the right order. But I think, as you say, for your part, when you're getting that fuzzy brain, it's more of an internal overwhelm. Like you say, you're struggling to focus on one thing because you're focused on one thing, but your brain is still telling you, yeah, but don't forget you've got that. And don't forget that needs to be done. And don't forget you've got to do that. And that also has to be done. And make sure you don't do that way. And this also, you are trying to do this activity, but at the same time, you've got all of that shit going on in the background as well. You've got to switch this off. And the only way you can do that is when you start to compartmentalize it and say, okay, that's that, that's that, that's that. That goes over there, that goes over there, that comes with me. Let me crack on. And then you just take the bite-sized chunks as you go. And it's also having the ability to say no, not take on too much. Check yourself if all of those things that you need your attention, do they really need your attention? Or are you just taking on things because you'd rather do it, or because you don't think someone else will be able to manage it, or because you want to be the nice guy and you want to help someone out, and all of those things? Because we stretch ourselves so thin sometimes because we're afraid to let people down, or we're afraid to look like we can't cope, or all of these things. But I tell you what, having that boundary of when someone says, oh, can you do this and this, and for you to turn around and say no, just straight face, no, I can't. It shocks the fuck out of people because they're like, what? Why can't you do that? And say, because I have these things to do and I want to do them to the best of my ability. And if you keep giving me more and more shit, this ain't going to get done. So I'm going to get these done. When I finished, if those things still need doing, I'll help you out. But right now, my attention goes here. And I tell you what, this kind of boundary is phenomenal in business, in relationships, in everything. When you can actually clearly communicate your needs and your capacity for things, you won't get overwhelmed and you won't get stressed by things. So yeah, so those would be the main things I would say is delegate your lists, start implementing boundaries around them, really recognizing, are you overstretching yourself, and where can you kind of stop doing that, and just detaching yourself from the overwhelm of it by being the awareness of it and identifying what is causing that anxiety, what's causing the overwhelm, where is it all coming from, what are the thoughts behind it, what's the feelings that are coming up, and then just letting it go. It's not you. And that's pretty much it. So I would try that. But yeah, so I think that's it for G's. And we've done just over an hour, and I wanted to try and keep it within an hour. So I am going to leave it there. If you have any questions, and obviously I think Chris was working tonight, so he's not watching, but if you're catching this on Catch Up Chris, obviously we're going to do H next week. So add some H's if anybody's got any H's to do with manifesting. Boundaries, you're fucking brilliant. Just say no and stop trying to do everything for everyone. Exactly. We're all guilty to some degree of people pleasing. We are. We don't, some of us might think we're better than others, but we don't want to let people down. We don't want to look like the shithead. We don't, we don't want to look like we're mean, but don't go. I gotta go. But yeah, sometimes saying no is a very precious thing, and we don't have to be mean about it, but we just have to know our limits, not push ourselves. It's really important in this life. And I think, yeah, it's quite, say yes to life and no to bullshit. Get that on a t-shirt. But yeah, I'm gonna go. So I hope that's been a good session. Yes, enjoy the rest of your evening, Reese. And Rainbow, I love you, call me Rainbow. Yes, have a lovely evening, and I will catch you next week. It will be Sunday next week, so I will be back at the usual time, 7 p.m. on Sunday, for the next live, where we're going to do the H's of manifesting. And yeah, any videos I post this week in the meantime, I hope you enjoy. Add your comments. Please share the channel, get as many people as you can to come and join us, to subscribe and like the videos and get involved and comment and all the rest of it, because the more people that we can reach, the more people we're going to help, and the better this world is going to be at the end of it. So that's all I want. Brilliant. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you later. Bye.